We are all, wherever we are coming from, we are all speaking one language, and that is from the heart. And that is what we are here. We have a universal language that the Almighty gave us from the heart. And that is, as I missed your name. Tayyib. Distinguished, it means he's a lawyer, it seems also, and his hands are clean. And he mentioned that we don't have a conflict of religions. And I always carry around, if you've ever noticed, I have a book of different pictures, and this is a picture how Jews always lived together in Arab and Muslim countries, including in the Ottoman Empire in Palestine. And any minute now, my colleague who is from Palestine will be arriving with God's help. We lived many, many generations without any human rights groups, without any protection. We were able to flourish amongst the Arab and Muslim countries. But not only we were able to flourish, we were invited to come, but we were suffering persecution in Europe by the Christian society that they made the Inquisition. They tried to forcibly convert Jews. It was the Muslim and Arab countries that embraced us and gave us a safe haven. And they knew, they were scholars, they knew our religion. Yet they didn't deem the Jewish people a threat because of the difference of religion. Because they knew, as a Jew who is true to the Jewish religion, we don't aspire or attempt to make any Jewish sovereignty. It is verboten, forbidden for us, until ultimately we believe one day the Almighty will make a metaphysical change in the world, which is common in other religions, that there will be a metaphysical change in the world, where all humanity will recognize one God and serve Him in harmony. And then the Almighty will build a temple. That's the Jewish narrative. Obviously, other religions have other narratives, but we all believe in a future with God ruling, with the Almighty ruling the world. So according to the Jewish belief, till that day arrives, when the Almighty makes this ultimate change in the world, we are forbidden to make any attempt at establishing any type of sovereignty. I hate to use the word a Jewish sovereignty, because the Zionist sovereignty that they are creating is definitely not a Jewish sovereignty. They are using all the trappings of Judaism. They are using the Star of David, the name Israel, which is Jacob. They are trying to present themselves as something holy, as something godly. But all that is a facade, an evil facade. They are masquerading in a pure religion, and they are pure evil. Jewish law does not permit us, since the destruction of the temple, to re-establish 1 inch, 1 centimeter of Jewish sovereignty. And that is why, although we went through the Crusades and Inquisition and so much suffering, and there was the golden age of Judaism where we could have easily purchased a piece of land, but it wasn't done because it's against our religion of Judaism. What they're doing is a rebellion purely against God and the Jewish religion. But that would have been even in an uninhabited land, in a desert. We would not support them, we would oppose them. But being that they're creating their homeland, their flawed nationalism in the land of Palestine, which was totally inhabited, the majority by Muslims, and then by a Christian society, and by a Jewish society, by the way, which opposed them. Therefore, what they're doing is again an offense, a criminal movement against God. The Torah is clear. Do not steal. Do not kill. You have to, Mahu Rachum, Avatutei Rachum. Just as God is compassionate, you must be compassionate. Everything that the Torah teaches a Jew, they trample, they disdain, and they ignore, and they fragrantly crime, do the things that people call inhumane, and we say it's purely ungodly and not Jewish. We want you to know, on top of all these issues, the root of Zionism is they scorn that the Almighty could protect us. They say, where is God? Therefore they have to have a protection state. So the whole root is contradictory to what it means, religion, Judaism. They scorn the religious Jew who says God protects us. No, they have to take a gun. So the whole root of Zionism, it's a farce. But when they're breaching all the oaths of religion by occupying a people, by stealing, by creating a state, that in its fruition, in its creation, it's blatantly against the basics of Judaism. But on top of all of that, we as Jews, as I've mentioned, were protected and taken in every Muslim country. Look at the history. Go, take a trip to Iran. You'll see the synagogues, you'll see the cemeteries, you'll see this is the gap of 2,000 years. The Jews lived there straight till today. Go to Tunisia, Jerba, go to these places, go to Morocco. I just happened to be in Tunisia and Morocco this last 2 months. Go there. The cemeteries has a continuation for hundreds and hundreds of years and thousands of years. We lived, we flourished, we put out our greatest rabbinical authorities. How come? If there's a conflict of religion, we would have been massacred. But we weren't massacred. We flourished. So this claim, this narrative of Zionism is so ugly, so repugnant, so repulsive. In it alone deserves the word Nakba, catastrophe, just without word, to claim the hate, the divide between Jews and Muslims. It is so unacceptable. One has to cry when you hear this. And the Jew is obligated, according to our religion, to show gratitude for good done. It's the basics of Judaism. Moses was saved in a wicker basket from the waters. You're all educated, you know that. And therefore he said to God, when the first plague, he was told to smite the water of the Nile and that it should become blood. He said, how can I smite the water of the Nile when I was hidden and saved in the Nile in a wicker basket? We are taught, we teach our children, show gratitude. How dare those Zionists vilify, dehumanize the people of Palestine when they embraced us and gave us a home? Thank God, around the world, the very religious Jewish communities have not been silent. You didn't hear it much because the mainstream media, they have some problem with giving media. They have a problem with the word media. They somehow can't seem to say a straight word. So they are, when we make demonstrations in Manhattan and there's a traffic problem, they say some type of traffic jam, but they won't report what it is. But if the Zionists will go out, 2 people on the street and wave a flag, they'll say, oh, the Zionists, we're having a very important demonstration here for the state of Israel, and on and on. The blatant, one-sided history that the newspapers and the news puts out, the sympathy that they show for the state of Israel is ugly, and we cannot be silent about this. But I want you to know, if you will go from the streets of Jerusalem and Mea Shearim to the streets of New York, right across from Manhattan, you can't miss it. Manhattan is an island. There's a bridges that connect it. It's called George Washington Bridge, Brooklyn Bridge, and Williamsburg Bridge. Williamsburg Bridge goes right into the Jewish neighborhood. Miles and miles, thank God. The largest concentration of religious Jews, and there's not one single Israeli flag in all that area. That didn't just happen like that, because it could never fly for a minute, because a Jew who is true to the Torah does not accept not only the massacres that we're witnessing 20 months in Gaza. We don't accept the existence of this occupation called the Zionist state of Israel. We will ban this. You can't say that those children and those old people, they are terrorists. We know you're witnessing 20 months the murder of innocent people. Stand up, use your power, save humanity, save God's creation. You'll be saving your soul. You'll be happy in the future that you used your life properly. So please, it is not anti-Semitic to stand up against anti-Semites called Zionists who destroyed the relation between Jews and Muslims and has caused the death of Muslims unites the Zionists. To bring in our days, today, hopefully, an immediate end of the murder in Gaza and the occupation of Palestine. But till that moment comes, we dare not be silent. And world leaders, please, please don't be silent. And God should help. We should have the merit to see a free Palestine and the glorification of God. Amen. Assalamu alaikum.